Hey, Wasabi. Good morning. Welcome to Algin Gardens. We finally got this cleaned up back here somewhat. Still got the borage. I was leery about moving so much of it, so I may just chop some. We'll see. Bear with me on that one because I'm just going through withdrawals. But as you can see, we've added some raised beds. You probably saw the quick version before this as the preview. And I just kind of want to just take you around a little bit and then go into what we're going to finish up doing today. So as you can see, we've kind of pretty much cleaned out the beds of the weeds that we needed to. We've taken the edger and gotten most of the weeds out of the middle. So I'm going to come back and hit it with a layer of wood chips to kind of suppress these a little bit more. We have covered up our strawberry bed. And if you can look into it, I used bird netting, but I got the size that will still allow some pollinators in for the flowers. Excuse the shadow here, but I wanted to kind of zoom in so you can see that we've got plenty of strawberry flowers budding and coming up, but this will still allow me to get in here and weed it up. But we've secured it with zip ties, so it should help with keeping the larger birds and things from out of here. We got this going, and I am thinking of, if you can see, I put a borage right in the middle. This is our tomato bed, which is okay. We got tarragon, oregano, which is huge right now, thyme, more sage. Some of our collards are beginning to go to seed, but I do have collards ready to go, so I may take those out. Our garlic in the back is growing nicely. Oh, there goes a pollinator. It's growing up nicely. I put a borage here as well. We've got some onions from last year. Our Shasta daisies are coming up. This is actually potatoes. I emptied out a potato bag from last year because I had a row of them right here. And I emptied them out when I was harvesting, and I must have left a couple of the roots or something. So when I dumped it in here just to kind of put it somewhere so I could refresh the bags this year, so this is normally where I put sweet potatoes, but we're going to see what that happens. I don't know if there's a reason why I couldn't put sweet potato slips around it. We'll see. But we are ready to go. So what you're going to see probably in this video and maybe throughout the week is this is my in-ground. I have cardboard over it right now just to kind of suppress any of the weeds that was growing up. I don't, even though I have a tiller, I tilled it the first time, and my plan is not to keep retilling this area. It's just to lay a little bit of compost on the top and let the ground do what it can do. This part of the yard really does not have clay like most North Carolina yards do. I have darker soil back here, but it's sandier, which is not terrible. But I'm older, getting older, and I don't want the hassle of bending over for everything. In the lower beds is where I put stuff that is going to grow taller, that I don't need to bend so much. This is normally cabbage or squash. I rotate depending. And because I still have some cabbage and Swiss chard in here, I think it's going to remain what it was last year, and that's fine. I have a lot of onions that I'm going to intercrop or companion plant with here. And on this corner, I'm going to put some trellising, melons and things of that nature. So we are good to go. I think I'm going to move that sage from that tier just because it's kind of taking over the tier. And I would rather put it in ground the way I have the rosemary that I'm growing. And this rosemary started small and it's going to continue to grow. So I think I'm just going to plop the sage. That's sedum, by the way, with it. I think I'm going to plop the sage in the corner. This was normally where I had my zinnias, but I think I'm just going to let this be some perennial things, like sage and what have you. If you hear the beeping, that's my kind of gopher or animal deterrent. I'm not sure it works well because I got gophers everywhere, and you'll see what I'm going to do, try to contend with that. Also, I'll probably do this as a separate video too, is I have potatoes. I forgot to harvest these bags on this side. So I have 1, 2, 3, about 7 bags that I forgot to harvest completely. And it looks like the potatoes are coming back on their own. So I'm not going to disturb these. All I'm going to do is I'm going to add some fertilizer for them and let them do what they do. If you noticed here, I had an older, my first ever plastic greenhouse that I had. The plastic, after replacing it twice, I said I'm not doing it again. The wind just took it and blew it away forever. So my sister and niece were here and we kind of cleaned out the space, and still got a couple things to move. That's a bag of mulch straw that I used for for mulching purposes for the bags of potatoes. So I'm gonna grab that in a little bit when I come out to do the potatoes later this week. But this is just gonna be the berry haven. Same principle. I have some bird netting that I'm using to kind of keep this intact, and I just need to get some clips because that's wide open. But this is bird netting, and this is going to hopefully deter. I really didn't lose any berries last year, but the more they hear, the more temptation it will be. So I have some honeyberries, blueberries, pink lemonade blueberries in particular. So we're going to keep those covered, if that makes sense. And I have a plan for how I'm going to water these, and you'll see that coming up soon too. So we just got to finish cleaning up around this. And this is my table of steaks and things of that nature. So we got a lot of plans and things that we're going to be doing over here. But let's get back to why we're doing this video in a little mini garden tour. Oh, look, my lavender's coming back. Sweet. I grew this from seed. I'm so proud. So, like I said, as we were talking, I have gophers or moles or voles, whatever. I haven't seen them, but you can tell by the way there's like, traveling rows in my backyard, soft places and areas where you can see something is digging and crawling underneath there. So it can only be a couple things. So I have these, but what I do for the larger beds, which is why I tend to put my root vegetables and things that are not exposed to the ground like this, right? So I'm not worried about the voles getting to my tomatoes. So they'll be in these plants, or my peppers actually. They tend to like the root vegetables, rabbits. Also, I got plenty of Peter Rabbit and friends around here that love the lettuces and things of that nature. So to kind of combat that, those things will go into higher raised beds. And I line the bottom with, oh, I hear a bee. I line the bottom with chicken wire to deter them from being able to dig up into the raised bed. And if you saw the video, this is about waist high for me, this bed here. It's a birdie, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fill this whole thing with soil. That's expensive. If you can do it, by all means, it's expensive. And your vegetables really won't grow that deep, right? Not really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pillaging around the yard. I have some wood, a pile of wood, I got some trees that came down like a year or two ago up front. So I'm going to pull those down and fill the bottom with that. I have some leaves and things around. I'm going to fill up in layers, and then the top will be the good stuff. Okay, so I'll show you as I go. We'll be back. Sidebar. Hey. Sidebar, I'm going to pick up that log over there for the raised bed. But I just wanted to show you, I do also have fruit trees that I planted last year before. So we should be getting fruit. This one right in front of us is a self-pollinating peach tree. And the variety that it is, give me a sec, is, I forget. But I made sure it was self-pollinating. So I only have one, but I may end up getting another one just because why not? I have 2 plums. Focus, there you go. 2 plum trees. That tree right there is a grafted apple tree. It's 4 different varieties on it. Red Delicious, Pink Lady, and I forget the other 2. I have the tags on there. And then I have 2 small, which is probably really small for you. I have 2 small, there you go. I have 2 small cherry trees that are growing, and I'm just letting them take their time. I'm not in any rush. So I got them small, and I planted them direct because I want them to get acclimated to where they're gonna be permanently. So one is a Bing cherry, and one is, I forget the other 2. So if anyone is doing fruit trees, just make sure you're double checking that you don't need more than one of the same or an opposite variety to help with fruiting. But back to what we were doing. So I did wood chips, and now I have some compost, some pre-compost eggshells, coffee grinds from in the house, and a little from the compost bin that I know is not even finished, and I am a-okay with that. This is from my inside compost bin. And then after that, a layer of straw. So you can see, like, this is like food scraps that haven't finished broken down because, you know, first of all, I didn't make them small enough. But it's perfect. They are already in the process of breaking down. And now I have some straw laying around from, you know, the fall decorations. So this has been in the elements for all of winter. And this is perfect because what it'll do is it'll act like, almost like a sponge to retain moisture. And it'll encourage those roots to reach down to grab or to go get moisture, especially in the middle of the summer. Got one more. So I have 4 of these, ironically. So I will do 2 per. And as you can see, These are actually moist because it was raining, but I'm still gonna make sure that I add some water to them with the hose just to make sure it's super moist. The wood chips were already wet, so I didn't water those in. But we're gonna give this right here a good soak and penetrate everything. And I got hot from all this moving and hauling. So we are out here in short sleeves. It is probably in the high 50s, low 60s. But we out here working, right? So that's what we're doing. Got our music going. Perfect. Next step, we're gonna wet this down, add some Black Kow. White shirt was not it's not smart, but whatever. Now, does it have to be Black Kow? No, obviously it does not, especially for those that are truly vegan. If you want, mushroom compost is awesome. This is just what I had laying around, and so there it is. I've had success with the Black Kow. I've also had success with the mushroom compost. Mushroom compost, I enjoy top dressing with that. So there you go. Now I have a huge bag of Soil 3, which is hummus and compost. That's what I meant by the good stuff. So hold on, let me swing you around so you can see it. So that big yellow bag, I just didn't feel like buying a bunch of bags and hauling them and running out. I have a lot that I want to top up here, and I'm always adding beds, as you can see. So that'll probably last me not just this season, but some of next season. So do what you can afford. This is a great option. If it's in your area, they deliver it and they will put it where you want it to be. I have it close to the greenhouse, as you can see. So as I need, I will add or grab using my handy dandy wheelbarrow. So we're gonna get some of that as the top layer, and then we're gonna finish the other bed. All right. So we've got the second bed done. Same thing, we did layers in here, and we've got the compost top layer, humus compost, which is really good. So the last thing I'm gonna do, and then these beds are ready to plant in. And this is up to you whether or not, I just do the whole bed, especially because I'm gonna do a lot of seed planting here, not starts, meaning like I'm gonna do beets and carrots in here that I'm starting from seed straight out here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna douse the bed with blood meal, bone meal, and some all-purpose fertilizer, granular. So the only thing I'll do is as things are growing, I'll add liquid fertilizer, but in general, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of the granulated. That'll be particularly helpful for the root vegetables. And then some blood meal. And again, this is based on what you want to put in your garden, right? So if you don't want blood meal, again, because you're vegan, or bone meal, because you're vegan, then don't use it. This is just something I like to use. There are alternatives of getting extra nitrogen and extra phosphorus into your fertilizers, so that are more vegan friendly, so that is totally up to you. And I'm just taking this and using it as a rake just to kind of incorporate this. I will spray this in, smooth it out. I'm just really working this into the top inch or so. As it begins to break down and gets used in plants and whatever, it'll start leaching towards lower and lower, so I don't have to worry about getting too deep into it. But this is literally it. So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of just giving myself a flat surface, flat-ish, to work with. We are expecting rain in a couple days, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm not sure if I'll get back out here within the next day or two to plant anyway, but definitely I'll try to show you how I do some direct sowed seeding. I might use the square foot method for this bed, so we'll see. And I have a little square that I use for that, tell you exactly how much of each variety to plant. So maybe we'll do that for this bed and the other bed. So again, just so you know too, I left about an inch or two. That way, even though it's going to over time get lower, just because things are going to start settling, but I did want to leave room that I could mulch on top of this, especially for when the summertime gets here. It'll help with water retention and for the plants not to dry out as easily between waterings. So I did leave about, I could have gone higher, but I did leave about an inch or two just so I could add mulch, a good layer of mulch for the summertime. Hope that helps. We'll see you soon. Hey, God sees, God hears, God knows, and He understands. Happy